Hey out there, this is Friday, December 2nd, 2016, and it's just about 9:16 in the morning here in Northern California. And I want to talk about a whole lot of different things today, as usual. And I want the theme to mainly be expanding on the similarities, the commonalities that communism and its derivative, I guess, would be a lesser form of communism, would be considered socialism, and crony capitalism and its relationship association with fascism, and how these differing philosophies, points of view, if you will, create a lot of division, but really it's that division is directed against the lesser prey, which is just regular humanity. But regular humanity wants to live in peace and harmony. It doesn't want strife. It doesn't want passion to the point of violence. And both of these parties, these philosophies of communism and fascism, share that in common, that they are establishmentarian beliefs, that they believe that the state should have the power, and through law and mandate and force, coercion, intimidation. It's very tyrannical. It's very authoritarian. It's very totalitarian, both crony capitalism and communism and fascism and the kind of socialism that we know today. We're taking from the haves to give to the have-nots, but the haves they're taking from are the lesser haves. They're never the ones at the top. And it's never worked like that. It never will work like that, and that's something that communists need to understand. And conversely, the crony capitalists sit in the background, don't look at us, don't pay any attention to us, while they are running roughshod over humanity. They're running roughshod over the best interests of the largesse of the population. Basically, society, humanity at large, is being trampled on by both these belief systems. It's not falling on the backs of the elitists, the ones that are causing all the problems for us. And that's something that we really have got to change. And fundamentally, we've got to start with, I believe, what are just plain old biblical principles. Okay, I'm not a religious guy. I'm really not. Much as people might have a different opinion about that from the things I say, I do point to the Bible reference. And like I pointed out, it's the most accurate historical information you can ever find. But I believe the teachings of Jesus are the greatest teachings of all. And one of the things he taught was that in what's called the Beatitudes, is that the peacemakers shall be called sons of God. And of course, sons and daughters, humanity is man and woman. So anytime I believe he talked about sons, he's talking about women too. All of us as just mankind, okay, is womankind. And he said that the peacemakers shall be called sons of God. And, what could be a higher title than being sons of God? And this is something, no matter which philosophy you prescribe to, you've got to always remember that the most important thing that you can do is to try to dispel misunderstandings, because our society is rife with misunderstandings. And the fruits of confusion and ignorance, okay, are disempowerment and timidity, okay? And that's something that we've got to face. We've got to all face it, that we've all let this happen. And you can say, yeah, but they've crammed it down our throats. And yes, that's also true. Nevertheless, we all have to accept our share of responsibility for the mess that we're in. And we are in a big mess. It's a big, frightening mess. It's very foreboding and ominous what's going to happen in the presidential transition. And, this idea that the entire establishment and all the establishmentarians, the New World Order all these types of people, the communists, crony capitalists, are all just seething with anger and fury at this idea that, you know, their power structure is going to crumble because Donald Trump is president. Is, you know, it scares the hell out of me. I'll be quite frank. Is that it's a very frightening prospect to how these people are going to lash out, because we all know they're willing to do anything to get their way. They're big, fat, spoiled, rotten crybabies. They're hypocrites. They think they're better than other people. They think that they are where they are because they're smarter than others. And even if that was true, that doesn't give them a license to run roughshod over humanity, over the best interests of humanity. And the best interests of humanity are sound policies, politics, sound economic politics, economic policy. And this is the biggest thing, and I don't hear enough people touching on it. I was listening to John Rappaport this morning. He's on doing a piece for Alex Jones here yesterday. And he finally started touching on this understanding that solving problems is a huge threat to the establishment structure. And that is absurd. It's preposterous on its face. It sounds like an oxymoron, but it's absolutely true. It's paradoxical, but yet it reveals how insane the entire establishment is. It's based on madness. That's it. The idea that if we solve our social ills and we're able to live together in harmony, safety and security and prosperity and liberty and freedom and all the good things all normal people want with a godly instinct. Hell, we're cosmic creatures. It's not about religion. I mean, look, religion is a way to pigeonhole people. They tried to do it with Jesus, and he scoffed at it. He said, look, it's religious. Okay, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Let's be very clear. And in all reality, it's supposed to be a good thing. Yes, I know that many evils have been committed in the name of religion, but we all know about false flags now. Look up the term. We all know about a frame-up, how easy that is to besmirch another's character for just that purpose. It happens all the time, so let's not play stupid here. It's easy to do that. And if you want to besmirch the term religion, well, what's the best way to do it? To do heinous things in the name of religion. And that's exactly what happened. That's why religion has such a bad name to this day. And we're going back 2,000 years to when Jesus was on the earth. We've all got to understand the very powerful components at play here. This spiritual entity that's just about division, about keeping us ignorant, keeping us confused, keeping us off balance, keeping us disempowered, and keeping us lacking confidence, the confidence we need to stand up. I know right from wrong in this matter. And you guys are deliberately taking wrong because you're benefiting, you're profiting, and you're sick and twisted and you're evil and you're all going to hell. All you crony capitalists, all you communists that want to cram stuff down people's throats because you're just spoiled, stupid little brats. You have to have your way. Murderous brats, I might add. Okay, and that's where you're all going. You need to straighten out, and you need to realize if you want to confront the problem, then you confront another, but don't blame it on everybody. Okay, don't blame capitalism, pure capitalism, supply and demand, free market capitalism, which brings you the VCR. That's what's supposed to happen, folks, when you have true capitalism. Okay, you have the VCR. You have your currency increase in worth. To me, that's so obvious because that's progress. And that's how you create this rising tide of prosperity across the board. You understand that? So that's what, a good Democrat wants. That's what a good Republican wants. If you're honest, if you're true to your conscience, to your integrity, and if your eyes are open and you dispel the ignorance, dispel the confusion, essentially you come out of Babylon as a metaphor, as an analogy. You come out of that and you say, I get it now. I get why. This is a satanic thing. And these people, witting or unwitting, these capitalists, these fascists, these communists, and these socialists that are willing to take a lesser prey by going for the middle class, okay, than going for the real, jugular, the Rothschild class, the money printing class, the Federal Reservist class, okay. Like if we were going to have Robin Hood, philosophy work, let's at least do it right, for crying out loud, right? So I disagree with all these philosophies that are willing to cram stuff down people's throats and use violence. If I had to take a pick, I mean, if you really nailed me down and said, look, are you on the side of guys like Che Guevara or, and these are, I understand, very controversial figures. And, and what's his name? Castro, who died recently, he was even worse, right? From what I understand, very oppressive dictator. I mean, that's it. Just cramming stuff down people's throats, just iron-fisted, right? Just manipulating things. And I'm going to have it and he's not even that smart, right? But he's got passion, and he's willing to use violence, and he can rally that support. You understand? That's how these things work. They don't happen in a vacuum. How do you think crony capitalism worked? We've got traitors. It wasn't like the Democrats were the good guys and the Republicans were the bad guys. No, we've come full circle now. Now the liberals, quote liberals of today, the contemporary liberals, are acting like the neocons were. Why everybody started hating the Bushes out there, because they were crony capitalists. They were fascists. They were liars, cheaters, thugs, and murderers. I mean, that's what I believe, whether it's a metaphor for murder or not. I don't need anybody suing me, but I mean, that's what they are. When they start unwarranted wars with countries, all these dubious wars for profit, control, and chaos, all these things they get to stay in their little power structure. And it's sickening, but we don't want it. We don't want it. Now it's the Democratic Party with people like Hillary Clinton that are the warmongers out there. Okay? What the hell's going on here? Okay? It's a mess. It's a shambles. And we've got to face it. We're in a lot of trouble. We're in serious trouble here. And we all need to admit it. We all need to say, you know what? It's true. It's really true. Things are really messed up. And the only way we're ever going to extricate ourselves, if there's any hope of extricating ourselves, is to confront this thing. It doesn't mean we're going to succeed. But what are the alternatives? To be a coward and just say, no, I'm just going to sit back here and put my head in the sand. Ignorance is bliss. Don't bother me with, the factual details. You just fake news because the mainstream media said so, and I got to trust somebody, so I'm trusting these guys because they're mainstream, the MSM, right, the mainstream media, and we can trust them, right? Well, you can't, okay? And it's all fake news that, if it's coming from anybody whose eyes are not completely open, if they're not an egalitarian, if they're not an equalitarian, if they're not a good American, a constitutionalist that believes in equality, equal rights, equal entitlements. And you don't have to be an American to believe those things, okay? You could be anyone from anywhere in the world and still prescribe to those precepts. Okay, that's what it comes down to. It's saying, yes, I'm willing to see things through the Creator's eyes in this matter here. So that transcends all this political nonsense. Whether you're a socialist or a capitalist, a communist, a crony capitalist, a good capitalist, whatever you may be and prescribe to, understand that God's laws transgress all those, okay? That they go over the heads, they circumvent all those. And so you understand that you're born on a planet. This planet belongs to God, okay? It's all very cosmic. You're born into a galaxy. You're born into a solar system, okay? This is the way it is. And this is your neighborhood. It's very cosmic, and there's a whole universe of galaxies out there. God loves to create, obviously, through empirical evidence. We can all agree that believe that there is a creator. There's just too much design. The idea that the human eyeball is made more precise and better than any state-of-the-art camera we have today. They can't replicate things like this. The human brain. There's no computer on Earth that's as awesome as the human brain.